Welcome in, fans, to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. I'm Randon. Here with me is Dustin. Ryan is activated from the injured reserve. Boys, we don't often get to join each other right after a game. We are recording this episode right after the loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I'm going to ask it, even though I don't need to. How you guys doing tonight?
I feel better than I would expect after a loss. Like, we'll get into it, but like that wasn't a disheartening loss. Like it hurts to get away from a game with a loss and no points, but like that one didn't hurt. So I feel good. I feel decent.
It was all right. I'm feeling okay. Not the worst way to lose a game and not get any points, but not also like an ass kicking. Like, we didn't let us down necessarily.
No, they held their own, and you've got the two best teams in 2026 going at it, right? With the Mammoth and the Tampa Bay Lightning. The two hottest teams in the NHL with two of the best goalies currently in the NHL. And it really was a battle of the goalies. And the power play is the only thing that separated the two. Tampa Bay gets a couple of power play goals, and we can argue about the officiating. I didn't like it. It seemed like the fans on Twitter didn't particularly like it, but it is what it is. And you just, against a team like Tampa Bay, you've got to stay out of the penalty box. And then going on your own power play with how historically bad the Mammoth power play has been and how very good the Tampa Bay Lightning penalty kill is, that special teams imbalance was always going to exist. But yeah, it was a tough loss, but kind of, did anybody we thought we could win, right? The Utah Mammoth could win, but it's one of those, I don't want to say expected loss, but you really don't feel bad about losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning. If we're talking about how close the East is, Tampa Bay still seems to be the best team in the East. So, on home ice, it's just, yeah, it's going to be a tough game, and they certainly improved from last year's shellacking in Tampa Bay, so I was happy about that. But what are you guys' takeaways from the game tonight?
It was good. I think we did half, or we did 50% better than last year, or something like that. I don't know how to do this.
So, no, it was 8 to 0.
75% better.
Yeah, it was 75% last year.
Okay, so even better. We still haven't scored a goal, but that kind of seems to be the team. We either score a lot of goals or we don't score any goals, at least for the last little bit. And shout out to Veggie, stood on his head multiple times. Got a little nervous when he punched the ice after the second goal. I was like, no, please, God, don't do that. I understand the frustration. Break a stick. Those are cheap. We could replace that. A hand is 4 to 6 weeks, so it'll be a minute. But we didn't get our asses kicked. And if we can go take the Lightning to a 2-0 loss, that's fine. I'll take that.
It wasn't as if Utah played poorly. I sent a tweet right after that game. Utah didn't play badly today. Everything was just a little bit off. Passes entering the zone were just a little too far, a little too behind. Passes across the crease, the one timer from Gunther to Carcone that I thought Carcone might have blown. It's just it's there, but it's not finished. And then I think it was Gunther who had that shot go off of the crossbar, and just everything from passes to shots getting by the goalie and hitting the bar, that just everything was just a little off. Utah, they played well, but they weren't crisp enough to beat a team like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is really, really good this year. If it weren't for what Colorado's doing, we'd be talking about Tampa Bay in the same light. Those two teams are especially in goal differential, just running away from everybody else. And Colorado's just doing something that's they're just destroying the league right now. But Tampa's doing essentially the same thing. And their goalie is arguably the best in the league, which is weird. And just, it's just, they played well, but not crisp enough to beat a team like that tonight.
Absolutely. Still unable for the Mammoth to beat Andrei Vasilevsky. He's one of the best in the league, and certainly I think will be in the Hall of Fame as well with his resume. They don't come much better than him, and Tampa Bay's fortunate to continue to ride his hot hand. And I think it's, Dustin, you mentioned about how it's just the little things, right? The little bounces and kind of the way that things didn't go the way. You just look at Clayton Keller's breakaway, right? That's kind of a micro of how this game went, where, you get that opportunity and he tries to kick it to his skate, and the puck just starts bouncing on him, and he doesn't ever get like a real clean shot. And that's kind of just how the game went, right? The bounces our way. And, you took a few, like, I wouldn't even call them bad penalties. Like, you're looking at the penalties and you're just kind of like maybe a little softy, especially the one on Kraus at the end. I think Kraus gets punched in the face and then takes his man down, and he gets the penalty, which is very, very upsetting. But hey, how about Ian Cole dropping the gloves, right? That's his first official fight of the season, I do believe. So our boy Ian Cole dropping the gloves, standing up. It's not exactly the guy I'd want to fight, but hey, I'll take it.
It didn't help that Marino took a penalty right after, so you go down to 2 defensemen. That was the only downside to the Cole situation.
Frustrations. Didn't Andre Tourigny talk about that? I forget which game it was, and talking about this team managing their frustrations when things don't go their way, a hit, liberties taken by the other team, and talking about managing their frustrations and staying out of the box because of it. And I think you saw a lot of the penalties, a little bit of retaliation there. You got to see Sergachev get a little feisty towards the end of the game. He kind of wanted to fight. I almost thought Dylan Guenther was going to go too, but that didn't happen.
That would have been such a bad
kind of
fight.
expect it.
Like, the one guy,
I don't know,
no, Yanni Gord is not, that is a no.
Fighters, that's what would make
Gord
the fight
is more
so
of a
great.
fighter. No, Gord is way more of a fighter.
We don't know that Gunther's not a fighter.
We know. Brandon, he's not Ovechkin. He's not going to just 2-punch a guy. Like, no.
We'll never know until he goes, just like we'll never know who's better between Cooley and Celebrini.
Like Jack McBain and Lawson Krause money to, if that situation arises, they're supposed to do the fight. You don't let Guenther fight his own battles. You go you fight for him.
Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself.
Keller
if the rest
and
of the team
Cooley
isn't
do,
going to.
yes. Guenther, no. We got to have at least
too
one
precious.
star that's
He's
just
too
like,
precious.
no, he's a baby. He's just a boy.
Why shouldn't he fight? Why? It's mine. It came to me. That's what he was saying about the fight. Poor little feller. No, but he had a good game. I think he passed up a few prime shooting opportunities too, and that has worked for this team over their hot stretch, right? Spreading the love around, spreading the offense around, and that extra pass has paid off for them recently. And it didn't pay off tonight, but we've kind of seen that this team fall into that maybe just pass first mentality a little too much this season. Like we said, against a team like Tampa Bay, what are you going to do? You have to try to take your opportunities, and to beat Andre, they got to be golden opportunities. So maybe that was always the philosophy going into this game, is just get that primo opportunity. You're going to be good.
Yeah, the only way you're going to score on a goalie like that is you either pass up good opportunities for great opportunities, and like you try to limit your opportunities and just make them really good, or you just pepper the hell out of them and hope that one finds its way through. It seemed like Utah was kind of just stuck in the middle of those two, but like I think there could have been more of those like golden opportunities if everything had just been a little more crisp.
Hey, and good news, we lost, so we can start talking about firing Tourigny again. Just kidding. We didn't talk about that. He's doing good. Doing good, Andre. So,
now, the problem with Tourigny is he does just good enough to not get fired, and I'm kind of tired of it.
You know what's crazy? We're looking at the standings, and for as good as the Mammoths have played, right? One of the hottest teams in the league, because of some early season setbacks, just like we talked about earlier in the season, they're now 1 point behind Anaheim, which obviously we talk about Anaheim's third in the Pacific, so 1 point behind is relative. But if they were in the wild card, they're still 1 point ahead of us. And you've only got 3 points on San Jose, LA, and Seattle, all of them, only 3 points. In going into the most difficult stretch of the season, probably these 4 games are probably the most difficult 4 games that we've had, or arguably the most difficult 4 games. And so that 3 points just doesn't feel as good. And that's what when we talk about like wanting to be securely in the wild card spot, like 3 points isn't as secure as you might think it is. And so like when we talk about Andre Tourigny just being just good enough. Like there's one thing I want to bring up as somebody posted on Twitter about speaking of what historically happens to this team when they lose to Tampa Bay. But we'll talk about that in the future times. Because guess what, guys? I want to go beep, boop, boop, boop. Let's jump in our time machine, right? Let's reverse this and let's go back to a little night I like to call Wednesday night and talk about a change in fortunes when the Utah Mammoth take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Down 3-0 on their way to an easily forgettable loss that we just never talk about the game again. Just a bad performance. Nothing happens. And then we get ourselves a stick check of destiny. And then the franchise's first ever 6-on-5 goal. It finally happened to send the game to overtime, and then the captain does it again and wins it in overtime, and we go from forgettable loss to possibly greatest game in franchise history. Like, how crazy was the last 5 minutes or so of that Flyers game?
And I was sitting on my couch, and when Philly got the puck behind our defense with the goalie pulled, I literally went, well, and then Nick lifts the stick and takes the puck away. You kind of jump up like, ooh, we still got life. We still got hope. And then you have that fight along the boards and Keller pokes it away. And he's just got that line to the front. And that's for a goal scorer like Keller, that setup where you're coming across the goalie's face and there's no one there to stop you. I'm not it's not easy to score a goal in the NHL, but that's one where you have to score there. And he does it, and then overtime, it's just that went from not only just a forgettable game to one of the most memorable games, but two of the most memorable plays we'll ever have. Obviously the first ever goalie pulled 6-on-5 goal, but that play by Nick Schmaltz to keep it alive, that's just memory. That's one that you think back on and you're like, Dad, what was it like having the Mammoth move to Utah? What was one of your favorite moments? And talking about last year doing the Family Cup when everybody's mentioning that game of veggies against Carolina, that's what that game is going to turn into, and those two plays are going to turn into. This is going to be talked about for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we on this podcast, we glaze Nick Schmaltz a lot, right? Everybody knows it. It's kind of become a meme at this point, how much we support Nick Schmaltz. But it's a play like that is exactly why we think Nick Schmaltz is as good as he is, because it doesn't always need to be goals and assists that you rate the player on. That is what Nick Schmaltz has done his entire career. And last year, when he was getting so much flack for not getting on the score sheet, he was still consistently making defensive play after defensive play. I'm willing to put money that says Nick Schmaltz is our best two-way forward right now. Dollars to donuts, I think he is. You can talk about the other guys who maybe get a little more PK time, but they're not doing as much on the other end as well. If you want to talk about great two-way play, look no further than Nick Schmaltz. And if I was being interviewed on the Family Cup, that would absolutely be my play of the season right now, would be the Nick Schmaltz poke check of destiny.
Yeah, that's one of those games you can really build momentum off of, and bouncing back to, a loss tonight isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can still build off of the momentum from that game. And I say the boys just blame it on the humidity, because who the wants to play in Tampa Bay? It's a stupid place to play hockey. It was muggy. It was gross. The people in Florida were probably on drugs and being mean. And nobody wants to play there.
And after coming back from the blizzard apocalypse, the snow apocalypse 2020, not to be forgotten, the Saturday matinee game, a nice 11:30 local time start. I was fortunate enough to hang out with our friends from the Slapshot Utah podcast at their watch party, and it was awesome. And I don't want to disparage the Park City the Park City watch party. I hope it went well. Tusky was there. If they had it, I didn't see a lot of coverage on it, but I'll tell you, man, Mammoth fans were fired up at Big Willie's. There was about 70 people there watching the game, and that was a fun atmosphere to just be in the house with a bunch of Mammoth fans in this community, just meeting each other, hanging out, just having a great time and watching a great game. We just from when Nashville scored that first goal, after that, it was basically all Mammoth from that point on. And that's the team that we're just like, yeah, that's the team that we've seen all January, and that's the good version of the team that we've seen all year. And then just occasionally they have those bad moments, or they just can't overcome their own self-inflicted wounds enough, and they take an L. But this Mammoth team, even with the loss to Tampa Bay tonight, is still playing just incredible hockey. And this is the team we've hoped to see, right? This is what we have said all along. This is what we expect out of this team. This is why it's so frustrating when they don't play well, because we know what we have. We have a really good team. They just have to play consistent enough every single night. Not an easy task, but it's just, that's why we get so frustrated when they have these inconsistent losses. But you play well against Tampa Bay, and you still, like you said, Ryan, you still have that momentum going into, now that the time machine has brought us back to the present. Now you have 3 more very difficult games this week, and one comes up tomorrow/tonight when this episode airs, and that's against the Florida Panthers. So just another tough team to play. They're not as good as they were last year, but then again, in their minds, they could just, hey, we'll take the 8th side, because we know as the Florida Panthers that the season doesn't start until the playoffs. So who cares what seed we're in, because we're ready to go into the playoffs. And that's what you're going to get out of the Florida Panthers, a team that's ready to play. And now they got Matthew Tkachuk back.
And they've won 6 of their last 8. Like, they're not, like, in terms of just the overall standings right now, they're not the team that they have been, but they're playing very good hockey right now.
They're doing the standard, what good playoff teams do. They, especially an injured playoff team like Florida has been, you take the first couple months of the season off, go a little light, play a little lax, let everybody kind of, feel you out, and then bam, Brad Marchand turns into Brad Marchand again. And everybody turns it on, and they do what Florida does. And now they're all getting healthy again, and minus Barkov. But I think tomorrow's a doable win. I don't like playing them on a back-to-back. That's a rough schedule to go back-to-back against Florida or Tampa and Florida. But I feel like that's a winnable game. I think the Dallas and Carolina games are going to be a lot rougher of games to win, because I feel like those two teams are better than Florida is currently. At least statistically, they've been better. And yeah, Florida's getting hot right now, but I don't know. It's going to be a rough couple games. That's what I feel consensus is going to be. Not impossible games, just rough.
I'd like to look at the statistics to see if the Tampa and Florida teams, if they are the most played back-to-back teams in the league. Like, you figure it's got to be like the Florida
them
or New York teams or LA teams, right?
Yeah.
They've got to get lucky, and I wonder, I'd have to go do the math.
It's probably a pretty common back-to-back.
And we got Utah and Colorado. You get teams coming this way. But, like, we played Florida, Tampa Bay back-to-back last season as well. And I'll bet you, just for scheduling purposes, we're probably playing back-to-back next year.
It probably makes the most sense if you're the NHL to just be like, well, they're only going to play these teams once in Florida anyways. All the West Coast teams that are coming, you might as well just play them either back-to-back or one night in between. Like, keep it simple. Plus, it's the middle of the NBA season. Like, it's probably just the easiest.
Yeah, and imagine what that advantage is going to be in the next 1 to 2 years, when the 2 best teams in the NHL are Colorado and Utah. And teams are always going back-to-back against those 2 teams at elevation.
I was going to say, they can't breathe.
Record,
way worse.
Like, if you can bet on futures anywhere on, like, those stupid, like, Kalshi apps where you can bet on, like, anything futures, bet on Colorado and Utah's home ice record for the next 2 to 3 years, and you're going to make bank.
Yeah, we are just so good at the Delta Center now, too, aren't we? This year has been a blessing. Last year it was a slow start at the Delta Center, but no longer, like, that home ice advantage. And then just as the arena completes its renovation, I think it's just going to be a great atmosphere. I'm so curious to see what the new upper deck is going to look like, because it seems so tiered. It, like, went from, like, 4 vertical sections to, like, 19 subsections. I don't know if you guys have seen the seating chart, but Speaking of that, though, tickets are actually reasonably priced. Like, for season tickets, it's about $1,000 a seat for the full season. Now you're in the nosebleediest of the nosebleeds, but hey, it beats 3,000 a ticket.
Is the renovation going to be blocked off seating, or am I going to have a decent seat?
No, it's full view, full ice view.
I'll take that for $1,000.
And when we used to go to Grizzlies games, we would buy our tickets in the bottom level and then go sit up top. You just get better views from up there. You're not looking, you don't have the breaks in the glass and all that breaking your sight lines. Like, you see the whole ice. Like, those are good seats. It's not like you're watching basketball and you're just away from the action. Like, those are good seats up there.
Hockey's a weird sport where, like, you don't necessarily want to sit in the middle, like where you'd think the good seats would be for like a football game. Not necessarily going to be great seats at a hockey game. Like, if you're sitting behind the benches, you're going to have a bad time. Like, it's going to be a bad time.
Yeah, that's weird where rinkside doesn't feel like rinkside, because we talk about obstructed views. Like, you're missing an entire corner of the ice because you just can't see it down the line. But it's
And you
kind of
get
funny
scared.
talking about, like,
I don't care what anybody
Yeah, right.
says. When you're sitting down at rink ice and a puck comes flying in, or a 7-foot Russian guy just slams a dude into the... It's scary. I don't care what anyone says. It's scary.
You know, what's funny is, too, about the upper deck is, so the fans universally hated the Skycam view. It just wasn't very good. But the thing about the Skycam is it moved with the play. When you're in the upper deck, the play doesn't move. So that disorientation doesn't exactly happen. And if you're new to the sport, if you are just learning hockey, you want to sit in the upper deck and get that, because you can see plays develop. You can see these things happen and start to get a feel for what the team's trying to do before it happens. I think even better than the camera angle, because the camera's focusing on the puck carrier generally, and you miss a lot of the trailing guys or on the other side of the ice guys. But when you're in the upper deck, you can see all of that with full bird's eye view. So say what you will about the upper deck. I love it up there.
And to stay on that...
I took my I was just gonna say, I took my dad to the Seattle game like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We had, like, they weren't all the way up at the top, but they were like mid-level upper bowl. And my dad's 63 years old. He's partially blind in one eye because he got shot with a BB gun when he was a kid. And even all the way up there, he's like, man, it's a whole lot easier to follow the puck and follow the game from up here. And even all the way up there, a dude in his 60s who can barely see out of one eye is like, yeah, it's nice to watch up here.
I was just going to say that unlike a lot of sports, like a lot of hockey once you start watching the game, you'll learn a lot of hockey is played away from the puck. A lot of the game, like certain plays, it all starts somewhere away from the puck. And if you're watching on TV, you don't really get a great view of that until they show the replay and some guy is explaining to you from his ice level seat what happened on the replay. But if you're in the upper bowl, you saw what happened. You saw Keller break early to get a breakaway pass or whatever the hypothetical play is. But so the upper bowl seats aren't always a bad thing. And in today's economy, you got to save any money you can. Like, you just have to.
Right.
I don't even mind the obstructed seats. I've never had a not obstructed seat at a Utah Mammoth game. Had a great time every time I've been.
Yep. It comes out to about $26 a game for the season tickets for the new seats, for the least expensive of them. It comes out to about $26 a game. And that's about as good as it's going to get. You don't get a free hot dog and drink, unfortunately, but you get to go to the season ticket holder events. That's got to be worth the price of admission alone. A lot of people have fun at those events. So I don't expect them to last long. I don't know when season tickets are available for purchase. Maybe they're available for purchase right now. Even at the reduced cost, I'm probably not going to invest in them this year. If you are waiting for your chance to get them less expensive, the new renovations on the one side is this year, and then the following year it'll be on the other side. So in 2 years, we'll have a fully renovated Delta Center experience. Speaking of renovations, one thing I'm concerned about coming out of that Tampa Bay thing, and I haven't been paying attention to the Twitter feed since we're recording, so I haven't seen any updates if there are any available, but our good friend Sean Dursey went headfirst into the boards, left the game, did not come back. And given his history of injury, I don't like the look of that. I don't expect him to play tomorrow, but I'm not a doctor. That's what they say about me. A lot of my friends think I'm a doctor, but I am actually not a doctor. So I can't
What
say
do you mean
one
you're
way or
not a
another.
doctor? What do you
I
mean?
know it.
You don't have a degree.
I know it. I don't know. No,
So
it was a
you're
sham.
telling
It was
me
all
you're
a
telling me
ruse.
you're a Dr. Pepper this whole time.
Yep. I'm not
Mr.
a doctor.
Pibb,
I just
son of
play
a
one on
bitch.
TV. I'm
You
just telling
Mr.
you. I'm
Pibb,
just
son
telling
of
you.
a
I know. I look it right. I look at it like on an I'd probably be an optometrist. Let's be honest. I got bad eyes anyway, so I'd probably be an optometrist.
You got
but they're
dentist
still
vibes all
doctors.
day long, Brandon, and it's not
Aw,
even
man.
close. You got dentist vibes for sure.
There's a new strip mall being built, so I'm gonna put 3 dentist office in it. You know it. You know they're like Spirit Halloween's dentist office. They find any strip mall or building available and they just yum 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 yum. Give me your teeth money. And they're probably all crooks too. Probably all crooks. They tell you got cavities. You don't know enough to say one way or another, and they just scam you, and then they just put stuff on your teeth for no reason.
So I'm
Dustin,
not
you got
on
an update?
Twitter at all, but from what I can
No,
find on
I don't
Google,
see any update.
nobody has said anything.
I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that he didn't come back into the game. That came with just like a couple of minutes left, and then Utah, I believe Tampa went on the power play after that. It's just then it's out of hand. Like no need to try and get him back in.
Injury history, just send him down, get a shower, get somebody to look at it. And it almost seemed more like I don't know if you guys were listening to the broadcast, but one of them kind of mentioned it seemed like he almost got knocked out. Like he kind of seemed like a little dazed and stuff, which if that is the case, please just let that be. You just kind of got dazzled. You know what I mean? You just got rocked and you just needed to go sit down for a few minutes and hopefully nothing bad comes. But if I don't see anything serious. I'm worried about Radish and his dive when Lawson Krause was giving him a little hug. I have never seen a ballerina flop that hard. Like, that was insane. I hope his shoulder is okay from the way he rotated it out of his own socket.
You can always tell a guy's diving for how quickly he gets back up looking for the call.
100%.
And that's exactly what Radish did. Yep. He got up immediately. I'm down on the ice. Oh, it hurts so much. Oh, did I get the call? Oh, I got the call. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah. Let me talk some shit real quick, too. It's unbelievable.
There's a good GIF out there that you can find of LeBron James on the ground, like doing that exact thing, like covering his face, and then he kind of like pokes out through he's like, just, yeah.
Do you need to sell it more?
Do not bring soccer to my NHL.
Now, the best part about that is, like, I guarantee if they played more often, Krause would, you know what I mean? That's one of those, like, I'm going to cross-check you every chance I get now just because you want to dive. Like, hockey at least polices itself. Like, basketball should let it police itself. I mainly just want to see Draymond Green in a 5-on-1. That's really all I want is just him just taking on a squad. You want better ratings, NBA? There you go. Let Draymond fight. It's that simple.
They need to let more sports need to let people duke it out.
You guys ever watch lacrosse? Me and Asher were watching lacrosse over the weekend, and lacrosse fights are the best because they don't have like pads to grab onto and so it's just two dudes who just square up and just start boxing, and it is fantastic.
Do they take their cages off?
They take everything off. They take their jerseys, pads, and it's just two bros just be like, all right, we're going to settle this. It is incredible. And
NHL really...
Literally, it is just hockey without the ice and way more violent. Because you can just smack guys with your lacrosse stick and be like, you have the ball. Hi-ya! And it's just like, that's not a penalty. That's fine. If you hit him in the hands, now it's a penalty. Hit him in the chest. Totally fine.
Playing a little whack-a-mole out there.
Utah
has a good lacrosse team. They got the Arrows. The Utah Arrows or something like that. So we got
have
lacrosse
a team
in Utah. Yeah, they play out there in Harriman or Daybreak or wherever it is.
I feel like they folded.
Did they? I thought they just made a playoff
I was going to
run.
say, I don't think we have a team.
Well, rip the Utah Arrows.
Yeah, I was going to say, I follow the Colorado Mammoth because, we stole their name, their hashtag, and everything, other than their color logos.
That's a different league, though. That's the Major League Lacrosse. This is like the Premier Lacrosse League. Different leagues.
Premier Lacrosse, the Utah
NLL.
Archers.
No, we watch NLL in this house.
Utah Archers.
National Lacrosse
It's
League,
the-
Randon, the pros, the real professionals, the guys on
Well, no,
ESPN
PLL.
8, the Ocho.
Outdoor lacrosse is the way the sport was designed to play. None of this indoor crap. Get
Nah,
rid of
indoors
it.
where it's at.
not
Nah.
hashtag not my lacrosse.
Hashtag not my tusks. Hashtag not mine.
Well, we're hoping that Sean Dursey, Dustin, you kind of look. I was looking over at your camera, and I was wondering if you were doing the research, if there was any news on Sean Dursey. I wasn't sure if you had just stumbled upon anything, but
Nope,
'cause I'm sure it's been
news
asked.
on Dursey. Now I'm trying to figure now I'm trying to look up the Archers because I feel like I saw that a lacrosse team in Utah folded, but I go to the Premier Lacrosse League's website and it lists them as one of the 8 active teams in the league. So they at least exist
I
and
know
8
are
teams.
probably still playing.
I think our rugby team folded. We had a rugby team for a day.
Ooh,
And I
that's
think
what
they
it was.
folded,
The Utah
yeah.
Warriors?
Yeah.
Utah Warriors.
Oh, that's
the
crazy.
rugby not as
Mom
popular
and
as it
Ronnie,
could be.
our mom
Utah
and sister
Warriors
went to
officially
their
suspended
game.
operations and will not participate in 2026. That's what it was.
There's an Ultimate Frisbee League too. I don't know if you guys knew that. There's Ultimate Frisbee in Utah now. They got Ultimate Frisbee out there.
The John Boy Media company is the baseball guys. They have a side project called the Warehouse Games. And if you want fun, entertaining games, go watch their YouTube. They do blitzball. They just made up a new sport called golf ball. If you thought golf and baseball were too boring, wait till they're mixed together, boys. It is out of this world. All brought to you in one warehouse. One warehouse.
I watched something on like the YMCA on ESPN 8, the Ocho. It was like the YMCA games, and it was just local like dudes and chicks just like doing things that like, oh, you have to hit 3 golf balls and they have to go past this fence, and then you shoot, and then you throw footballs, and then you like
It's a redneck triathlon.
just a try, just like sport after sport after sport after sport of just average men and women, and like there's like, and they're throwing it like.
And the end of it is they have to
like
compete
dudes shooting like
in an American Ninja
like
Warrior.
shooting basketballs like that form that you haven't ever seen anybody shoot like, except for children like learning how to shoot. And it's like, this is on TV right now. This is amazing.
So, okay, we're recapture the millennial audience right now, because I feel like when I was a kid, I know this existed. I'm not making it up. I think on Nickelodeon, there was a game. It wasn't a game show, but they were at like a summer camp, and you had teams competing in like summer camp games. You guys know what I'm
It
talking
sounds
about?
like
It's not Guts.
like a spin-off
It's
of
not
Guts,
Guts.
like Guts Summer Camp.
It was not Guts. And I want to say, so Can't Eat My Shorts. Does that ring any bells?
Yes. Can't
So
Beat My
I
Shorts
w-
was.
I think I
wanna
might have
say it was
been.
that.
I might not have been. I might be too young.
You
of a
may have been
millennial
too
for
young.
this.
You're too Gen
I'm
Alpha
a young
or whatever you
millennial.
are.
No, I'm a young millennial. You're an old millennial.
Hey, millennials out there, go do the research. There was a Nickelodeon show where it's like
Okay.
the camp plays games against each other to determine a winner. I swear, and Can't Beat My Shorts just
There
sounds
was
so familiar.
Guts.
I
There
remember
was
Guts.
Wild and Crazy Kids.
Maybe that's what
There
it was.
was Nick Arcade, Wild and Crazy Kids. Let's see. It might, because like I click on, I look up Wild and Crazy Kids, and it's just like it's a group of kids. They're outside. They're wearing like, there's one group in blue shirts, one group in yellow shirts, one group in red shirts. Let's read the synopsis. An American television game show in which large teams, usually consisting entirely of children, participated in head-to-head physical challenges on Nickelodeon. Lasted for 3 seasons from
Scaredy
1990 to
Camp
1992.
sound familiar?
So it had to be it.
The Scaredy
No.
Camp. It says there was a 2002 Nickelodeon summer camp game show called Scaredy
Nobody cares
Camp.
about 2000s kids.
Look, I'm just saying.
These
I'm
kids.
just saying. I just typed
This
in
is-
Google summer camp Nickelodeon
We're
show.
talking
That's what
about
came up.
like kids who were raised on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, I watched that
Like
too.
that's what we
Yeah.
want.
This is the hard-hitting coverage you're going to get when
I
you
remember
subscribe
Angry
to
This might be
Beavers.
the most
Podcast
off the rails
Podcast.
we've ever
The
got.
Beavers were angry before the birds, and I was there, daggit. I was there.
I'm not cutting any of it. None of this is making the editing floor. This is all staying in the episode and you guys get to hear it. But we'll bring it back. Let's reel it back in, talking about the Mammoth again. And now let's look ahead to, again, these next 3 games. We've kind of touched on the Florida Panthers, but then in 2 days you play a very difficult Carolina Hurricanes team. And then 2 days later you come back to the Delta Center and you play the Dallas Stars, who you've gotten the better of this season, but it's still the Dallas Stars, so
I'll
it's
be
not
at that
gonna be
game,
easy.
so we're winning.
Dustin's guaranteeing a win tomorrow/tonight against the Panthers. It's going to be a physical game. Now, here's what I'm going to say. 2 outcomes possible. If Vejmelka plays, I suspect we are on pace to have Vejmelka start the next 20 games. If Vitek Vanacek plays, we're probably going to lose not because of Vitek, but because the team just doesn't play in front of him.
Don't give offensive support to Vitek.
No,
Have we
we
ever
do not.
given, in our 2 seasons, have we really done anything for either of our backup goalies? Whether they were Ingram last year or Vanacek this year? No.
And we couldn't decide who we liked more early in the season, Ingram or Vejmelka, right? We had this argument on this very podcast, had an entire episode devoted to breaking it down, who was better, Vejmelka or Ingram. But then the backups after that, after Ingram goes out, then there was no trust at all at our franchise hero, Jackson Stauber. I don't know if anybody remembers this guy. He was a legend.
Stauber the Stopper.
Yep, Stauber the Stopper, our first ever franchise shutout. Thanks to Stauber the Stopper in Las Vegas. I was there. It was an awesome game. Nick Schmaltz also snapped a 16-game goalless streak, got 2 that game. But then after that miracle game, no trust in Stauber, no trust in Matt Velada, nothing. And if we don't trust Vitek Vanacek against the Florida Panthers, I think that says we don't trust him ever. Like, if you're not going to play him on a back-to-back, like, I get how good Vejmelka is, but this is exactly why you have a backup goalie that you just brought in the offseason, is to take these back-to-back games.
Has been good lately, too. Like, he's also playing good hockey when he gets on the ice. He's just getting no run support.
It's very frustrating to watch.
Breaking news, perhaps. If you go to the game preview page for the Utah Mammoth and the Florida Panthers, the injury report for that game lists Sean Durzi as day-to-day with an estimated return date of January 27th.
Game time decisions.
So tells you nothing breaking news.
Game time decisions. You heard it here first on the Two Line Pass podcast. This is the breaking news that's why we pay you the big bucks, Dustin. That's why we pay you the big buckaroons. But I don't like a situation where Vejmelka plays 20 starts because I kind of want to make the playoffs and I kind of don't want to get embarrassed. And if you've ridden Vejmelka for 25 straight, like, yeah, what's 4 more? But I kind of want us to be competitive in that 4. And a lot of our competitive edge this season hangs on how well Karel Vejmelka plays.
I will say we do have, we're what, 4 or 5 games away from the Olympic break. So, like, maybe you can ride him just for this next little stretch and then, like, everybody gets a break. So don't ride him when we come back from the Olympic break.
He's fighting Lucas Dostal for the starting goal job for Czechia.
Oh, my God. Did you see what Dostal did to the freaking Colorado Avs a couple of days ago? Like 49 shots on goal, and he lets 1 through?
35 saves, too, before he let the goal in.
Jeez.
That's why I think, like, Dostal's the starter for Czechia, but Vejmelka's making a case for why he should be the starter, right?
Is that like kind of sneakily the best goaltending tandem in the Olympics?
If you're gonna pick
outside
just
of the U.S.,
2,
yes.
Yeah. Even then, with the U.S., Hellebuck has been absolute this last few weeks.
Yeah, but you still got Otter, and it's still Connor Hellebuck.
I don't know.
Canada's goaltenders
Hellebuck sucks
just
during
garbage.
the big game. Yeah, nobody's gonna argue that. But what about the one? I think it's whoever has Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Sweden. Who are Sweden's goalies? No, he plays for Ukko plays for I think he's Finnish.
He's probably Finnish. I don't know many goalies outside of the Americans, the Canadians, and now the Chechians. So
he is Finnish.
So yeah, maybe Dostal Vejmelka.
It's
Dostal
Gustafson,
and
Markstrom, and Wallstat. And
Gustafson is good, though.
No, but
He's very good.
Wallstat's even better. He's the one who took Gustafson's starting job in Minnesota.
So it's both wild goalies?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
no,
nice.
I am taking Sweden to win it all. As much as I love Team USA, I think Sweden is the dark horse to win the whole thing. Their whole lineup,
Give me Team Italy.
Dude, their whole lineup is so good. France.
This is why I love being on this podcast, because I do not know enough about like the league and their nationalities to be able to tell you who's going to be goalie 1, goalie 2 for all these nations. But I can just throw something out there and say, like, are these two the best goalie tandem in the Olympics? And you two just go off and name them all, and I get to just listen and enjoy and learn.
Can't name any player for France, but I do know there are no French Canadians on the Canada roster, and that just made me so happy to find out, because Montembeault was the only representative from Quebec at the Four Nations or whatever, and this year they were like, no thank you. We don't need you guys. You guys get your whole country. Go over there. You
know, it's funny too, because then you've got teams like Germany that, like, top to bottom, Germany's probably, I mean, nobody's really scared of the Germans, but they do have one of the best players in the world, and
JJ Paterka.
And JJ Paterka, and then that bum
and Schneider or Cider. Who? What bum? What?
The bum from Edmonton. I can't even say his name. Drysdale.
Leon Draisaitl. Sorry for the joke. Leon, we're joking with you.
Spit him.
And none of that.
But Leon's one of the greatest players in the league. But that's the one thing in a best-on-best tournament, right? Just because you have one of the top 3 guys in the world doesn't mean your team is good. Nobody expects Germany to do much, maybe be a surprise team, but I don't think anybody seriously considers Germany to be medalists, or medal contenders.
No, it's going to be one of the big 3 Europe countries in Finland, Sweden, or Switzerland. One of the 3 will get a medal, and then us and Canada. We all know how it goes. It's how it's going to go. Hopefully I didn't just curse us.
You start Vejmelka. Czechia might be a dark horse. It would be great if Canada doesn't make the gold medal game. That would really warm my heart as
Canada,
a bitter American.
Switzerland for the bronze medal.
Yeah. Oh, that would really warm my heart. I wouldn't even care if U.S. wasn't in it. As long as the Canadians don't get to the gold medal game, that's fine with me. But the U.S. has a roster that looks good. But so does the Utah Mammoth. And again, these are the games we talk about, these stretches of games, these 4 games, which in a 82-game season, 4 5-game stretches can get lost in the shuffle. But this is where it's like, this is a difficult part of the schedule. In fighting for your life, I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm still going to say they're fighting for their lives until they are 6 to 8 points clear of the next closest team in the wild card. I won't feel confident. And maybe I won't feel confident until we get to that 8-point spread. But with the way the other teams are playing, the only thing we've got going for us is that they're all in the Pacific Division, right? Like at this point, I don't really feel like Nashville's capable of making a run. I think Nashville's going to make the difficult choice to start selling and maybe looking towards next season. But even they hung around, right? And they're still technically hanging around. But the one thing you've got going for you is Anaheim, Seattle, San Jose, and Los Angeles still have to continue to play each other. So that's where the Utah Mammoth have a good situation. But you got to get through these difficult stretches where you're not playing just the bottom of the Central. You're playing the top in the Eastern Conference. What a great episode we've had tonight. We've gone everywhere. We've gone in the future. We've gone in the past. We've taken millennials down the road. We've taken everybody on a road of glorious sporting knowledge and adventuring. And it's been a lot of fun talking to you guys. Do you have anything before we get on out of here? Do we have a Nick Schmaltz of the week for last week?
It's got to be Logan Cooley. Like that performance and that like winning that game, like I don't know if there's even another candidate that we could consider other than did I say Logan Cooley?
You did. And I was going to let you go.
Yep. I thought it was a bit. I was waiting for it. I was like, what is the joke in this?
Like, there's something in the back of my head.
Yeah, we were all just like, what is going to happen
Something
here?
in the back of my head was like, that wasn't right. And then I'm like, wait a second. I think as I was talking, the voice in the back of my head was like, I'm pretty sure you said Logan Cooley, man. Like, wait a second. Did I say Logan? Yeah, I said Logan Cooley. Clayton Keller.
It would have been
That's
the
how
best
much I miss
bit,
the
though.
man. I miss the man so much. And maybe we do just give it to Logan Cooley because we miss him so much.
He's skating, but you teed it up, too, for it to be a bit. You teed it up perfectly because you talked about how great Logan Cooley was, and then you were just like, I don't think there's anybody else, is there? And then we could have been like, hey, how about that Clayton Keller guy? He had a kind of a good week, didn't he? And you would have been like, yeah, I guess so. It would have been perfect. But
we could have let. I need to take improv classes with our friend Zach. Like then I would have seen the road I was traveling down to set that up, but my brain was like, wait a second, idiot, not Logan Cooley, fix it. And I'm like,
if we're going off of vibes, I would like to throw a Nate Schmidt hat. I would like to throw my vote for Nate Schmidt because he had
Nate
an
Schmidt
incredible.
Was
it 2 weeks ago? He's still just been incredible.
No, last week.
Okay, he's still been good. He was even good tonight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I was gonna say my vote would still be for Nate Schmidt, but I'm not opposed to Clayton Keller. I'm just saying I think Nate Schmidt's name should be brought up again as arguably our best defenseman on the ice and off the ice. He seems like a fantastic teammate to play with. He's got a bunch of the team seems to love having him around. I think he was our best summer signing, and I have loved every second of Nate Schmidt.
But Clayton Keller, 3 goals, 3 assists in those last 2 games. So absolutely deserved. Clayton Keller, your Nick Schmaltz of the Week winner. Congratulations, Clayton Keller. You will be heading off to Italy with a Nick Schmaltz of the Week in your back pocket to guide the Americans to gold medal. I think it is, isn't it?
I believe that's his first one.
I think it's first one.
How have we not been keeping track of
first?
We need a goddamn secretary. We need a podcast producer who just sits behind the scenes taking notes.
I've got track. We went Nick Schmaltz, JJ Paterka, Logan Cooley, the fans, and then one in there that I didn't make a graphic for.
I swear it was Sean Dursey. I think it was Sean Dursey.
I think it was Dursey. Dursey, Nick Schmaltz, Nate Schmidt, and now Clayton Keller. Not Logan Cooley. Clayton Keller.
This is a great time. It's a great time to be a Mammoth. It's a great time to be a Clayton Keller fan. And he's playing his best hockey of the year. After he got named to the Olympic team, he's playing his best hockey. So all he's got to do is keep it up when we go play Florida, Carolina, Dallas, because then it gets easier. We'll be back in studio maybe before, but maybe not, because there's Vancouver thrown into it. Vancouver should be the nice break game, hopefully not a trap game. But then you got to go play Detroit right before the Olympic break, right? And Detroit is not an easy game. Detroit is a very good team. Surprisingly, shockingly great team.
They are playing good hockey this year. Yeah, they have the Yzerman plan has really showed what he has been planning this whole time, and it is.
But you're not going to play Detroit.
They're coming here.
No, they come here.
Yeah, they come to us. So we give them the hard time.
It is a home game. John Gibson is playing out of his mind. He moves from Anaheim, and he goes and he really gets to flourish.
Not even that, but Maurice Sider, their defenseman, has been on fire. Like, that kid is a menace, and he's going to look good on Germany, too. He was the other one I was trying to think about when we were naming Germans.
So there you go. There's the
but they're beatable.
Breakdown. We'll talk to you.
They're beatable.
Yeah, they are. Well, with the Mammoth the Mammoth are playing their best hockey of the season, right?
We're not going to let one
about
lose.
It, Ryan.
We're not going to let one loss to Tampa Bay halter the whole month. It's one loss, and it was to a team like Tampa Bay. This is fine.
That's our first game since January 3rd where we haven't got a point.
Yeah, we're good.
It's okay.
This is nothing. We'll brush it off. Forget about it on the plane ride down to Sunrise. Just forget about it. I just 1 second of if you've made it this far in the episode, you get one more bit of negativity from me. Somebody posted this on Twitter about the last time that the Mammoth lost to championship caliber teams back to back. It was the Edmonton Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning beating us after our 7-game win streak. And after the loss to Tampa Bay, Utah went into that 7-14 stretch through October and November. We're not the same team as last year. Hopefully not a harbinger of things to come, but it's not. Just a sprinkle of negativity in there for me. We have Nate Schmidt. We didn't have Nate Schmidt last year. so we're gonna be fine.
No. This is. I'm talking. This was earlier this season in October.
I'm gonna stand by what I said. We didn't have Nate Schmidt last year, so it's not gonna happen this year. Okay.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, that does track. That does track. I can't disprove the veracity.
Look, I
of
might
that
not
argument.
be right, but I'm not wrong. Okay.
True. Hey, it's been fun tonight, guys. You got any closing thoughts?
Ryan, do you?
Yeah, that lemons are man-made. They are not a naturally occurring fruit. They are the cross between a bitter orange and a citron, I believe. So just remember, life did not give you lemons. You made your own lemons, like you made your own problems. There you go.
I think we talked about that last year on
Probably.
this show.
Good. It's time for your
I
refresher.
think we did.
It's a good refresher for everybody.
I just had like deja vu. Like I've heard this before.
It's like the oldie. I got like 7 facts in here. I got to recycle them eventually. Bart Simpson.
I don't
cool
have like
catchphrases.
I don't have like any like final thoughts or anything, but since we haven't gone over the hour mark, this is a story that I heard about like a few weeks ago that I wanted to share. I kind of found like I read it and I kind of felt like it needed to be shared. It's about this family, this mom and dad who were they were like struggling to conceive a little bit, which struggles that I had with my wife when we first started to try and have children. But they finally like they have a baby, and they decide they're not going to choose a name. They just want like the baby to be born. Then they look at the baby and like the name will just come to them, right? Parents do that sometimes. They just like see it like this looks like a William, this looks like a Randon, whatever. So the baby's born. And the mom is just like kind of in like a post-delivery like delirium almost. Like I want to name this baby Love. Like I look at my baby and I see Love. I want Love to be her name. And the dad's like, no, we're not going to name our kid Love. And they kind of go back and forth and things get a little heated. So dad takes some time. He's like, I'm going to go get myself some lunch. He goes. And while he's away, that's, of course, when the nurse comes in. It's like, I have the birth certificate here for you to sign. And she writes Love. So that's the baby's name. And the baby grows up, like gets picked on in school because it's not a normal name. Whatever. Grows up, getting bullied all the time. And then when she is 16 years old, she comes home from school one day, another rough day, getting picked on at school, whatever. She comes in, she kind of like, she gives her dad a kiss on the cheek and then just kind of like glares at her mom. They're sitting at the table. She glares at her mom and then goes upstairs. And a couple of minutes later, they just hear bang. And they like look at each other and they run upstairs and they find their daughter on the floor. She had shot herself, and the dad walks over there and he takes her pulse and sees what happens, and he looks up at her and he says, shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You gave Love a bad name.
Ryan and I were just discussing today.
I knew it was going to be a bit, and I was like, where the is this going to end? Not where I thought it was going to end.
We were discussing how much we loved Norm Macdonald, and that was
that
very
was the most Norm joke.
Macdonald-esque joke. It had a better punchline than probably even Norm would have given it.
Norm
would have probably just ended it with like, something like, well, that's, what is love? And that's the end of the joke.
I'm not going to lie. My first thought in the middle of that story when you were like, they're going to come up with a name, I was like, Bodie McBoatface. Just get Randall will get that. Just Bodie McBoatface. So baby McBabyface.
That was well played, Justin.
That joke wasn't good. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Tragedy? Yeah. I didn't even know it was
Rip sick. Norm. Rip Norm Macdonald. Guys,
God,
somebody
so funny,
should kill that Hitler guy.
I want a big foam hat. I want to get a big foam cowboy hat to wear for the next episode in honor.
I got to tell you guys something. I am a deeply closeted gay man.
Oh, are you? Yeah. So you're gay?
No. Why would you say that? Why? I didn't say that. I said I'm deeply closeted. No, I said I was deeply closeted.
Deeply closeted. I hated Hitler before it was cool to hate Hitler. Hey,
that
guys.
Was a Larry King interview, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be the best interview moment of all time. Just this look on Norm's face because he's the only one laughing, and it's just it's beautiful. I watch it like once a week. It's one of my happy videos.
Guys, I hope
Easily
you've
one of our
enjoyed
most
listening
off the
to
rails
this.
ADHD episodes
This
ever.
is good,
Yeah,
though.
it's cool.
This is what the people crave.
Yeah, this is what they want from. This is what they expect.
And we
want to be
appreciate
just
you.
entertaining, not just hockey. We're here to entertain.
If you have stuck with us this long, thank you. You are a true fan, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Get out there, watch the game tonight against the Florida Panthers, and then the Carolina Hurricanes and Dallas Stars on deck. Mammoth playing some great hockey. They won't let one loss derail them. Guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. And everyone out there, have a great night.